guys know that baby boomers spend 56% of all home improvement sales
Yes, I do
are
know
spent by baby boomers?
Yeah.
I feel like I do with Chris.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Oh, I love that music, Alan. We got to keep rocking and rolling every time. Keeping it up, keeping it light, keeping it rolling. You know what I'm saying? Because today's episode is going to be way different than anything else we've done in a long time.
We've done some different ones lately.
We
So
have.
how's this one going to be different?
We're going to be branching out. We're going to actually embrace the fact that you're old. What?
Is this an intervention?
This is so I brought two lovely ladies in studio today just to, and Alan didn't know this, but we're having intervention. Alan, you are old and you will fall and hit your head if you don't follow what these young ladies tell you to do.
I'm going to reject everything you say.
This is going to be awesome, guys.
Get off my porch.
Get off my grass. I'm not old. I don't need grab bars. I'm okay.
It
I don't
was
need
way better when I was younger.
I can cut that apple. Don't give me that knife. Come on, give me the other old man lines. You got them.
I got a million of them.
Well,
But that's
I'm
not the
sure-
point of this.
I'm sure they're going to be coming out, though, aren't they? No, we have two incredible guests coming in today. We have Janet Engel and Esther Kane, who have not only been occupational therapists, helping old people not get hurt and helping them get back to their life that they're supposed to have. Alan,
What kind of life am I supposed to have now that I'm old? I mean,
well, it
just-
could be better.
Is it like padded?
Well, we are going to put special flooring down for you, and we don't baby proof it anymore, right? We age proof.
God.
I like that term, Chris.
Thank you. So Janet has her own podcast. We had a chance to meet from a mutual friend of ours, Jeff Gray. So she and I had a chance to get together and talk. And I said, gosh, I got to have you on my podcast. And she said, I'm not going to do it without my business partner, Esther Kane. I'm like, awesome. So we've been kicking it around here, talking way too much. And as they say, leaving it in the green room is what we just did.
I'll tell you what we just talked about would have been a heck of an episode.
That will be. I think, that could put us in a new genre. We can get into true crimes and family drama. The stories that you guys just told about sacrifice and coming from other countries, which Janet and Esther both have experience with. And then your family obviously has had that as being a mission worker and going down to do the farm work in Mexico. I didn't have much to add to that one, so I just was along for the ride.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you guys want to hear it, you got to go up. You got to hit me up on an email. You guys all know I'll answer emails. I answer them all the time. I've been hitting up a lot on Facebook. You want to DM me if you want to hear about the stories we did. We'll bring it back and we'll do these stories. And it's about coming to America, living the American dream, but doing it on a really hard subject and a really hard way to do it. So with that intro, let's get in and shall we talk
There's
about
no old people puns. I mean, you've been doing the dad jokes on the last few episodes.
Alan.
Is there going to be like
You're going to be dying to
Alan's
hear the rest of the stuff.
incontinent kind of stuff? Or
Well, we are going to have to probably pause the podcast a couple, 3 or 4 times and edit it out, but we
Yeah.
will have to stop for a minute.
I feel like I'm on the Howard Stern show.
we're not going to throw baloney at you. Trust me.
Whoa.
We aren't.
No.
Oh,
Well,
we are.
I won't now. All right, fine. All right. Janet, Esther, thank you so much for coming in. You guys have started a new business. We're going to get to that.
Cheers.
But we got to cheers first. So we are drinking on this episode,
Salud.
and we have beautiful women in the room with us. So we're excited because we aren't used to that.
No,
No.
we normally have to look at each other.
Right. And that's not beautiful.
Mm-mm.
All right. So let's talk about this. So where should we start? Well, we got to start with where these guys started, helping others help themselves, occupational therapists. So what is an occupational therapist? And then we'll talk about the business you guys have started.
Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, well, I will start. So that is a commonly asked question. What is an occupational therapist? An occupational therapist is someone who is an expert at looking at the environment, the person, and the task, and figuring out how to change all three in order to help that person be as independent as possible with their activities of daily living, which are dressing, bathing, toileting, the things that we do every single day that get us out the door. And that is what an occupational therapist does.
Is that 100% residential? Because it sounds like there's a commercial aspect to that as well. Maybe.
Well, there is, because there are occupational therapists that specialize in ergonomics, also in work hardening. For example, someone who may have an injury, let's say to their hand, and their job is to work at a factory where they need to be able to use their hand in order to perform their duties, then they could go through work hardening and get therapy so that they could go back to their previous work.
So Chris has an excessive lifestyle and has developed gout. So what would you recommend he do to make his work environment more comfortable so he can be productive again?
I am not changing my lifestyle.
Well, it may
No,
involve
we just have to change.
elevating if he has gout in
Almost looks like
his
a lazy
lower
boy in the
extremities,
office.
which is the most common area.
That's
Then
what I'm putting in my office, everybody. Lazy boy it is.
Yeah, that's right.
elevation, perhaps, is it cranberry that alleviates?
Cherry juice. I don't
Cherries.
need- Yeah, cherries.
Yeah.
Those two, I answered that one too quick, didn't I? I have tried them. I've been tested. I'm back down.
I think the best thing about OT versus PT is that PT is very focused on the physical body, getting you up and moving and fix, all of that. But OT is the whole gestalt. It's everything. It's not only
Nice
getting
word,
you,
gestalt.
it's
Wow.
not only
You
getting
classed
you,
up this podcast.
did I use it correctly?
You did.
Okay.
I don't know because I'm looking it up right now.
No,
Fact check.
Not bad for a second language, right? So,
Fantastic for a second language.
So if you are living alone, or if you're taking care of your spouse, or if you're working, or if you're volunteering, the whole idea of the OT is to get you back to doing whatever it is you were doing before, as much as possible with whatever it is that you have left. Hopefully if you regain everything, that'd be great. But
So is that a certification? Is that a school? Is it a class? Tell us how you become a certified occupational therapist.
yeah, master's degree. I mean, you go to
Well,
college.
yeah. So
Yeah, right.
An occupational therapist today, most of the programs are doctorate programs.
Mhm.
So yes, it would be a doctorate in occupational therapy. I have a master's. When Esther was in school, it was a bachelor's degree.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9-to-5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalomia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalomia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
So yeah, obviously you've got to be trained, and that's why I wanted to bring that up. It's not just like something you go out there and take an online class and say, "Oh, guess what? I can be a certified general contractor." And do it."
Yeah, no.
Which one of us might have done here at the table.
Yeah,
So
no.
you're a licensed occupational therapist. So it's not a
Yeah.
certification. You have to go through the schooling. You have to go to an accredited school in order to be able to sit for the exam to then become licensed
Yeah, and then take a national board
and take,
and then
yes.
take continuing ed.
So it's a very regulated industry.
That
As we
seems
just
more difficult than most things.
It really is. I know it is.
Why?
And,
Why did they make it so hard?
That's a great question. I don't know. Why do they make it so
And-
hard?
And I mean, do they still have closed programs? Because I know when I went to school, there were 800 applicants, but they only took 40.
Really?
I've heard today it's just as
It's
very
very
competitive.
competitive. Very, very, very. They only take the best of the best.
I've heard and so not I'm going to knock on doctors, but I've heard it's actually easier to get into medical school than it is to
It
become an
sounds like
occupational
it. This is
Yeah.
that what I just heard. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, no, I'd heard this because one of my daughter's friends, Sydney's going off to be a physician's assistant. And
Yeah.
she is going off this.
She's crushing it, right?
She is. Yeah, we're very excited. Yep. So she put in her
Not
time.
like she's going to ever listen, but good job,
You're
Sydney.
right. Yeah, way to go, Sid. Yeah, no, she's never.
That's a great job. My husband was a
Yes.
PA. It's a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah, so we're excited because she went to school, came back, worked, and then applied, didn't get in, and then applied and got in. And
Yeah.
phew, but
Cool.
tell you, there was a lot of drama in the house. Yeah, Mama Bear and Sydney Bear were giving Daddy a whole lot of nights in the
That's why
couch.
we're down in the basement with the bourbon.
That's what we do. That's there is a reason we have the terrace level. That's what I call it. Our occupational
That's right.
therapists are with us, and I'm going to make this my lair.
We've got the soothing pool over
Right,
there,
I
and
got
the
it.
hot tub and everything.
Right.
That's right.
So you guys get into obviously with the occupational therapist, it's a servant mentality. You got to go out and help people. I mean, that's what it is helping people get back on their feet and become more innovative. I mean, more independent. Mhm.
Mhm.
Right.
So how many years did you guys actually practice as occupational therapists?
I practiced for 12 years.
I did too. 12 years. I'm still a licensed occupational therapist. I don't work directly with patients anymore because I started a consulting business 4 years ago, but I am a licensed.
So you're saying
occupational-
Esther got kicked out? Is
No,
that-
I retired.
Esther.
Oh,
That's
oh,
right.
okay.
I retired. I changed careers.
Yeah.
So you changed careers to do what?
I went into, well, near the end of my career, the last several years, the internet started becoming a thing. And I was
I've heard of that.
an older therapist at that point, because I went back to school as an older person. So I started training, I started teaching, and I created several continuing ed courses, and I traveled the country doing that. And I started finding this amazing thing called the internet, where you could go on there and talk to a therapist in Canada and another one in Australia and get information. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. So I said, I have to do something on the internet. So I went into, I taught myself web design and coding. And then from there went into internet marketing.
And now we're starting to figure out what they're doing. So they've taken this great idea. So Janet is actually also a certified aging in place trainer as well. Esther has the training background, but you both have the occupational therapist background. But you came up with this idea, and this is how I get to see this pitched. And this idea is what?
Go ahead.
Well, you go ahead, Esther, because you came up with the idea.
Okay, so I have a website called Senior Safety Advice. And one of the things I wanted to offer on that website is, here I am talking about aging in place and all of this. And we were getting emails from our readers saying, well, where do I find people to do this? So I'm thinking, well, I mean, of course you can find them. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what, you email me where you are and I will find them for you, because I'm a very good internet stalker. So
All right. Me too. Probably for different
She's
things.
single too, guys.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
guys. There you go. Esther's stalking.
all right, no. All right. So, I figured, okay, so I started getting these emails from all these different places across the country and Canada. And I had the hardest time finding them. I would find one on Facebook, maybe one on LinkedIn, hardly any online with their own website or whatever. It really was hard. So I went up to Janet. I said, we need a directory. We need a place where all of these aging in place specialists, because there's multiple certifications for that. It's not just the NAHB. So let's get them all together into one place.
She said bad words. NAHB. Those are home builders. They don't know what
Oh,
they're doing. Us remodelers, we know how to fix people's houses. what I say all the time.
But if it weren't
we
for them
remodeled
building up,
747,
if it weren't for them building a bad house, you wouldn't have anything to remodel.
then I
Oh,
then I do
that's
love that.
true.
You're right.
That's
I can
true.
put
I'm
I
not-
can
I'm-
put a
I'm not-
silver lining on any.
It's an
You can't.
optimistic
You
view
can't.
of it.
That was nice, but
Can I ask it the dumb question? Aging in place. What does that mean? Does that mean that I don't have to move out of my 3-story house just because
Well,
I'm old?
It
You
doesn't have to
terrible.
be old. It could be disabled somehow.
I
I
don't
can
have to rub
tell
it
you
in.
what the definition of aging in place is. It's an environment that changes with you as your abilities and your lifestyle changes over time.
Mhm.
hello, lazy boy at home for Alan. You get one too.
Nice.
You know what? We're both getting lazy boys. We'll call them the small business
We
safari
could
lazy
do
boy.
our podcast from our lazy boys.
That would be and then we could be really aging in place. And then what we'll do is we'll just have straws, the squirrely
Oh,
straws up to
we
our
can
mouth.
get
for
we can get a
bourbon.
recliner that has the cooler built in the side.
I think that's exactly what occupational therapists are thinking. That's perfect for you guys. Yeah, you get your cheese, you can get your bourbon, you sit in your lazy boys. Yes, you guys are going to be perfectly healthy.
But I know it's called aging in place, but it's really for anything. I mean, if a 25-year-old got in an accident and was disabled somehow, had to be in a wheelchair, then that house has to be modified for him.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and it's not a dumb question. Aging in place has come up a lot. You know, I've been at this now for 16 years in Atlanta, and I've seen franchise companies come in and say, "Oh, we're just going to work on aging in place work." Well, there wasn't enough, and it just wasn't there, and
There wasn't enough work
there wasn't enough work to support
because
the
it
way
wasn't a thing.
It just because it wasn't a thing, and Atlanta was at the time. I felt like we were a younger market,
Mm.
but the transients are down here now. So you know, I'm from Michigan, you're from Oregon, we're here. We talked about our parents coming to live here and stay with us. Well, not live, but as they did. They did.
Yeah.
But so it's happening more and more, and we're being asked more and more to turn those terrace levels into mom and dad in-law suites. Or I need to have a walk-in shower, or I need to have better lighting, right? All the ideas that they're going to talk about. And you're right, there's nowhere to really find it
Right.
because after I heard about their aging in place directory, I'm like, it's got to be out there, right? I mean, come on. And so I just went out there and did a little internet stalking myself, and I'm like, no, wow, you really can't find it.
I know.
We are the very first directory to ever exist that houses people of all different certifications. So there are other directories, but they are very specific to the company that created the certification. So, for example, the ECHM, which is the Executive Certificate of Home Modifications, if you acquire their certification, then you can apply to be on their directory. Or the NAHB, they have the Certified Aging in Place certification, which I teach. And if you apply for the CAPS designation after you finish the coursework, you are on their directory. But there is no directory that exists that houses all of the different ones, which I don't know the exact count,
Yeah, I
but
think
it's
there's 11 or
closer to
12.
10.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely more than 5.
Certification.
More
Yeah,
than
certifications.
5 aging in place certifications. And so we just thought,
Yeah,
well,
there's Age Safe America, CLIP, the Canadian caps. There's so
There's
many.
Safe America is the one that I
BEAC.
found.
Yeah,
But when I searched for people here in Atlanta,
yeah,
couldn't find
right.
you
people.
So
Right.
what's your
Fine.
directory? What's it called?
Aginginplacedirectory.com.
.com.
That was available.
Yeah.
That was available. We
Yeah.
snatched that URL. Well,
Uh,
Alan, did we tell you that we're marketing experts,
Yeah,
online marketing?
I mean, that
experts?
wasn't very hard, was it? Hey, let's look up aginginplacedirectory.com. Oh, there it is.
come on, you're almost going to be their singular spokesman. What is it called? Aginginplacedirectory.com, Alan. Is that with an A? Yes, Alan. Do I need hearing aids? Yes, Alan.
What? Huh?
Yeah, we were. It just, I still can't believe that there wasn't anything like that.
Yes. it's
10,000 people a day are turning
And-
65.
until the year 2030.
And
Yes.
then what? They all die.
No,
No.
they turned 65.
Oh.
Alan. So baby boomers started turning 65 in 2012.
See what we got to look forward to? 65? Then we're dead.
That's it.
I'm like, oh my God, I mean, that's why I said if I can make it to 62, dude, I'm set. Because I never touched my 401k to start my biz. So it's just sitting there waiting for me. Now the odds of me
Sure.
making there,
Way to rub it in. Thanks.
well, it's all right. But the odds of me getting there, pretty low. So
Yeah.
do you want to be my beneficiary?
Sign that prenup, Alan. Sign that prenup.
It's too late.
So, but back to that stat, 10,000 people a month,
A
No,
day.
a day.
A day.
day.
And this started in about 2018, right? I think
Not
it was
100%
either
sure.
2017 or 2018 when baby boomers, when you had an average of 10,000 a day turning 65. And this will continue to happen until the year 2030.
And then after them, it's the next.
We have Generation X, which is the generation I belong to. Then we are the next
You
group
are such a
to
Klingon.
age.
You
So
are
Chris,
not a
you're
Gen X.
I am Gen
Generation
X.
X.
I am.
You're Gen X.
I am Gen X.
Whatever.
Yeah.
53. I mean, I know I look 74,
Yeah.
but
And we will continue to have an aging society until the year 2060. And so that's where the World Health Organization has coined the super aged society.
Yeah, the silver tsunami. So, I mean, as a
Silver
business-
tsunami. That
silver
I
tsunami.
like
dude,
that.
They
I
call-
just found the title for this episode.
Silver
Well-
tsunami.
So how to overtake the silver tsunami.
So as a
AgingPlaceDirectory.com.
business, it just makes sense that if you have a business to target that demographic. Plus, it's the demographic that has,
The
The
cash.
most
Yeah, most
money.
of the wealth is over
So
60.
did you guys know that baby boomers spend 56% of all home improvement sales
Yes, I did
are
know that.
spent by baby boomers?
yeah.
I feel like I do with Chris.
Yes, you did a great job, by the way. And I'll tell you
Yeah,
what,
fattening that stat.
you know what? Good news is
Yeah.
my boat is full of gas because of you.
Yeah, well,
All
that's nice.
752
You know,
gallons.
It would be
Aw.
nice if I would get invited on your
Oh.
giant
Oh.
cigarette boat that's way too big for Lake Lanier.
Well,
Frick.
different.
I can get across that
Ellen,
lake
I'll
faster than
invite
anybody.
you.
Will
Oh.
you?
We're
Okay.
members of the boat club at Lake Lanier.
Oh,
I'll
nice.
gladly invite
There
you.
we go.
If I see Ellen on
See,
that
I like
boat-
you way better than Chris already.
gonna
We
fl-
just met.
I'm gonna fly right by you guys.
You realize he lives on a golf course community. I love to play golf. I've never been invited to play golf ever.
Yeah.
Ask him if
And-
he's been
and
invited
when
to
I
my
co-
lake house
no,
up in the mountains. Yeah, that either.
And every time I come through the gate, the guard says, make sure you use this entrance when you leave, which is for the contractors.
He's on the permanent list. I got you on the permanent list.
Yeah, she said, and finally I'm like, I'm not a contractor. She was like, oh, that was today.
No way. She did not say that. She is so quick. She's literally been here since I've been here in 2001, right? And still.
She needs to age in place somewhere else.
So let's get back to this aging. But it is.
Is that part of what you do? Is have people age in place somewhere else?
That could be.
You can, yeah.
It could be. So aging in place isn't necessarily staying in the home you've lived in for the last 30 years.
Right.
It could be
downsizing.
or moving to a 55 plus community or moving to an apartment. It could be anything as long as you don't move into a senior living community, then that is considered aging in place.
So hypothetically, what's the villages?
That is not aging in
That's
place.
55 plus, yeah.
No, that's not it. Because the villages has all kinds.
Well,
it's
they have all
independent
levels.
Living, it's
Yeah.
assisted living, it's memory care.
So some of it is aging in place.
It's an inside joke for Ellen and I on the
Okay.
villages, but I appreciate you guys taking it seriously.
Yeah.
We've heard way too much about the village.
Yeah. That is
I
an
used to live
entire
right
other
by-
podcast.
Oh my
I
god.
used to live right by the villages.
Oh,
I
boy.
used to live in Gainesville, Florida.
Oh my god.
It's like an hour and 15 minutes away from the villages.
I'm proud to say because my aunt won't listen to this. She lives there. And one time we took our kids there. And good news is the party was done at 9:15.
That's true.
Yeah, we were done early.
And then they gave everybody a penicillin shot right after.
And we whisked the kids away in the golf
Let me
cart as
tell
fast as
you,
we could.
those people get
They
crazy.
get down.
Oh yeah,
That's what I've heard.
That's what we've heard. Yeah, that's why we asked. That's it. The inside joke went a little too long. All right, so obviously we got to let the ladies in on the inside joke. Everybody on the podcast, you've been listening. You know what we think of the villages. Yeah, I'll be there next week. Don't worry, anybody. We might be doing a remote from there. Who knows?
You would be huge at the villages.
I would. We'd have a lot of fun there. Yeah. You want a grab bar? Come on, baby. All right, get that motor scooter over here. All right, let's get back to this aging in place directory.com.
But you said that you were getting a lot of calls recently for turning the terrace level basements into.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So in the last, I'd say year and a half, well, when COVID hit, one of the things that happened, if you remember, everybody maybe does or doesn't, if you had a parent who was in an assisted living, you were trying to get them out of there as fast as possible
Yeah.
because COVID was rampant in these facilities.
Right.
And we were getting the calls for, I need a ramp put in my house tomorrow because I'm getting my dad out. I'm like, okay, it doesn't work like that. All right, we need a couple, give me a couple days, man. I got to get the materials.
Yeah.
But literally, they were getting people out of assisted living faster and faster and faster. And then I think, unfortunately, for a lot of assisted living, there's more and more being built here in Atlanta all the time. But they also have that stigma of, I don't want to have my parents go there to die. I want to have my parents feel an independent lifestyle. And so we're seeing a lot more of that. Stand-up showers. And Friday morning, I'm going over to look at another one with my team where they want to make the whole lower level built for their parents so they can get there. And so we're going to go look and figure out how to do it.
So I got a question. Who is the one who reaches out to you, Janet, as the occupational therapist? And in this scenario, aging in place, is it the customer, the end user, like me? Okay, so I'm getting old. I need some help. Do I call you? Or is it Chris, the contractor, who is, hey, I'm helping Alan, who's old, get his house in order so that he can stay there? How does that work?
It's all of the above.
Okay.
So they find you as a consultant and then they
Mhm.
talk to you about it. But is it usually people who are in their 50s and 60s asking you for help, or are they asking for their
It's
parents?
usually older people. So when we get the younger people, it's the caregivers.
The kids.
Older, yes, the adult children. And then the older people are asking for help for themselves. Usually
Your
it's a
directory is going to
desperate
be a
cry.
great help for them, for
Yes.
people like us
That's
talking
the
about our
point.
parents.
Yeah, that's
And
the
it's
point.
free.
Yeah.
It's completely
For them,
free
it's, yeah, for them, it's free.
homeowners.
I mean, it makes sense because this way it's a place for all these services to promote themselves and to get found. And then it's a place for all these homeowners and family caregivers. And now with so many people living longer, and the children are basically seniors. So it's seniors caring for seniors.
That was exactly my situation. My father passed away. I guess it's almost a year and a half ago now.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. At 93. And I'm like, let me get old, and I'm dealing with him. And it was, I mean, it was tough.
It's tough. Yeah, it's very tough because not only, you're healthy and you're doing well, but if you weren't, if
Yeah,
you
like Chris.
were,
Thank you.
perhaps, yeah, yeah. So then you would have to try
Fair
to
enough.
take care of them. I mean, it's
I've had
tough.
patients where the parent was the one taking care of the adult child because the parent was a healthier person.
Wow.
It
That's
happens.
what I'm trying to get my
Yeah.
dad to. If I can get my dad,
your dad's a badass. He could totally take care of you.
Yeah, no, well, we would have fixed him up. He went down a little bit after mom died, but I got to get him back up because I mean, he used to come here and help me run the biz, and we used to do home shows, and I'd be after 4 hours, I'd have to go sit down and go, I've had enough, and he'd still be out there cranking, and he'd work all 8 hours, and I told everybody we only work in 4 hour shifts, and my
Yeah.
dad be out there cranking. Yeah, so no, he is a badass.
You're getting him to Sicily this next year, right?
I am going to get him there. Yeah, I got to get him healthy. I gotta go
Maybe
try to get
that'll
him.
put a little charge in his
I'm going to put a little
world.
starch in his
Yeah.
shorts.
Yep. Something like
Thank
that.
you, Helen. That wasn't an old man phrase at all.
No, I was just trying to okay, we have ladies here.
Okay.
I gotta be nice.
All right, so back to the aging in place directory. So you guys are thinking your target market is those people who know how to use the internet, their 50s and 60s, maybe 40s, but they're trying to find care for their elderly parents.
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea. It's a matter of getting it out there, getting it promoted, and getting people to use it. I
Yeah.
know I signed up for it. That's how I met you guys. So I'm excited about that. So what have you seen in terms of adoption? You guys literally we're doing this. We're laying this down at the end of May. It'll go out probably the end of June. You guys started it what, February, March?
No.
April.
April.
So what
Mhm.
have you seen?
Well, I mean, we have definitely have the interest in there. So people are signing up, almost every day we get emails and questions about, which of the plans, we have 3 plans on there, which one would they like?
And this is for professionals, what
This is for the
Esther's
professionals.
describing.
right.
But I think Chris was asking more about the interest from
Yeah,
the
I'm looking-
public.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So let's
Oh,
talk about the
yeah.
demand and then
Yeah.
the supply. I
Yes.
want to
Yeah,
I
the
want to find out
demand-
who signs up for this.
yeah, the demand is there, but the website is so new and we're
Yeah.
still adding articles to it. And because we're using content marketing and we just started the Google ads, I think.
Yeah, we started Google Ads. to
So we're going to
advertise.
be starting a podcast just for that directory, as well as a YouTube channel. So those are other two avenues of marketing.
And then also letting the support groups out there, like Alzheimer's support group, everything from Parkinson's, MS, that our directory exists so that they can share that with their network and let them know that they can find professionals.
So that's the thing what I find interesting and what they're trying to pull off, and which, by the way, they're going to, I can tell already, because look, they've only been at this for a couple months, and that's why I was asking, was like, what are the hit rate for people searching? I think you're probably going to find that the search rate's going to go through the roof soon.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that you just hit on a number of things. If you're an Alzheimer's or you're Parkinson's or an autistic child, which is also some work that we've done here in Atlanta, they find their groups and they find their niche, and they're looking for people who provide services for autistic children. Well, as a contractor who knows how to do a lot of this stuff,
What do you what does that mean? What are you doing?
so we're coming in and we're doing things like lowering table heights, raising outlets, putting USB outlets in, so that obviously they can't shock themselves, but they can plug in their iPads and do those other things. We're putting in wainscoting around, because if they bump up against something, if they fall down, and then we talked about Viconic is the floor. We've been talking about that a lot.
What is that?
So this is a floor defense. We put this
Floor defense?
Hang on, floor fall defense.
Floor fall defense.
Right. Gestalt. Can I use that?
Yeah.
So what do you do is
Who's defending?
Yeah,
The floors in
yeah,
it?
yeah, the floor. You put this stuff under the floor. You put your vinyl on top or your carpet on top. If somebody falls, it lowers the risk of a head trauma by 2/3. It's crazy.
It's a cushier floor.
It's a cushier floor.
So,
Yeah.
Alan, if you can imagine something similar to an egg carton, and this is what they make wheelchair cushions, so that someone sitting in a wheelchair does not end up with a pressure sore from sitting for too long, because you have decreased blood flow. So they've created the same technology, but this actually goes underneath your flooring. And what it does is it distributes the impact. So if someone falls, then it is much less likely that they're going to break a bone or that it's going to result in a serious injury, because it disperses the impact, right? There's this cushion.
So it's Viconic. It's a fall defense
And-
flooring system.
You're just throwing out some $2 words there, Chris.
Well, because I'm working with them.
Yeah.
We've actually put it in our office just to try it out.
Really? Because
Yep.
you're afraid of somebody pushing you down?
No, actually, and so that's funny you should say that. So I took my CSR and I threw her down and said, see, look, your head doesn't hurt. That's so workplace
they've been
violence,
around-
which also works for that.
They've been around for decades. They've in the
Really?
military world. So they line military trucks with this material in order to
wow.
absorb impact from a bomb or an IUD. And then also in cars to protect people from impacts.
That's
They
another
have a
thing that
truck.
OTs are very good at, is adaptive equipment. I mean, the use of tools is just, it's gadgets.
So give us an
You
example.
gotta
of
love
that.
gadgets.
What's that mean? Because I love gadgets.
I love gadgets too. I mean, it could be anything from a can opener that won't cut you when you open the can, to a combination wheelchair walker that someone can use to, talk to you eye to eye, or when they need to, they can sit back down. All kinds of amazing, the AI powered bidet. I mean, it's one thing after the other. So it's endless. And especially nowadays with tech, it's, everything from Alexa to, I mean, just so many cool toys out there. that can help
you hit
you.
on one that I think is big. We actually do a lot of work with active disabled adults.
Yeah.
It's Champions Place here in
Yeah.
Roswell, and so I'm meeting one family. I said Friday. I'm meeting one family Thursday, and then another family on Friday. Thursday's the aging in place. Friday morning, we're meeting with the Champions Place folks. The daughter has cerebral palsy, and they want to be able to have her have an independent lifestyle, and she's got the willingness, and so it's so cool. So I've met her, and we're talking about doing all this other stuff, and we're going to turn her bathroom into a single wet room,
Mhm.
so that she can do everything by herself because she's so focused on being fiercely independent.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to watch this
Yeah.
happen. We've done this
That's
for a number,
amazing.
but it is really cool. But back to the Alexa thing. With Alexa, you can say, well, they have partnered with Google, and
Mhm.
Google Home has come in and done a lot of stuff. And so
Mhm.
Google is actually giving well, they're granting the equipment. We're buying the equipment, but they pay us for the grant on the money for doing it. But you can say, hey, G, turn on the and I gotta watch out what I'm doing because I have it here in my house.
Right.
And so I can say, hey, G, turn on the ceiling fan to medium. It
Right.
starts working. Hey, G,
Right.
turn on the lights, dim the lights to 50%. You can do all of that. And so they can sit there and do that. And so they don't have to call mom and dad
Right.
to come out and do all that stuff.
Right.
It's so cool, right?
Which
Right.
is wonderful because it is great for her because she's going to be more independent with her activities of daily living, and other activities like you said, maybe even meal prep, right? Things like that that make her feel useful, that make her feel like an adult. She has quality of life. And then what it does for the parents as well, that they're not caregiving 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it takes the load off the caregiver. That is
Yes.
huge.
No one
It
wants
is.
to be a parent forever.
Mhm.
I think that you hit on that one, and I know you had to live it a lot. And being the caregiver is tiring, and you never
It's-
take
yeah.
time to think about how tiring it is because if it's your parent or it's your kid, you
Right.
do anything for either of them. I mean, you wish you could just take the affliction and have it yourself, and because of that, you live it. And
Right.
it's so hard, and to give these people back some of these things, like you said, but having the video phone or the ability to call mom and dad without
Right.
having to touch a phone or turn on the TV or listen to the radio or turn on the space heater or the heater that we have that's enabled with G now to do it.
Right.
And it's a safe heater because temperature control is a big deal for all of us. And you don't have to call somebody down to say, can you drop it down 4 degrees?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So you're right. A lot of these things and the adaptive, that's what you said, gadgets. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, I love my gadgets. I was really digging it. So I think that's all exciting. So you guys are building up your demand and your supply
Mhm.
with your supply. So who are some other people that you would be looking for right now in the aging directory?
Oh, I would love to find more smart home technology people because that's a big issue. We talk a lot about all this technology, but then they don't know how to set it up. So it would be great to find more of that. And then it's interesting to find some at-home services. I met somebody who has a franchise kind of thing in several states where they will go from house to house to do your hair and things like
And
that.
that's such a needed service because
You call that at home?
Yeah, it's an at-home where they come to your home
To
or
your home.
in-home,
But
at home.
do your hair to
yeah,
Clip your
yes.
nails.
So just
Yep.
like you would
Guess so.
go out to a nail salon, a hair salon, and really, even though I am not an older person yet with issues with getting out of the house, I was a mother to a baby about 11, 12 years ago. And I remember not being able to go get a haircut and how much that frustrated me and really, uh, you know, made me depressed because I felt like I could never leave the house. And so if I could have had someone had that kind of service that could come to me, and I know that many older people wish they had that service because when I was an occupational therapist doing home care, many of my patients would ask me if I knew someone that provided those services.
Right.
It was funny. You kind of maybe rolled your eyes a little bit when I said nail care, but I got to say, when we got dad into assisted living and he was only there for 4 months before he passed, but the most exciting day of the year was when the person came through who would clip everybody's toenails.
Yeah, the podiatrist.
And like
Yes.
the place would go crazy. All the residents were so
They were
excited.
booked,
Yeah.
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
you can't
grooming.
freaking see your toes anymore, whatever, and you can't do that.
or you
You
can't reach
Yeah,
them.
can't reach them or you can't
I
do
mean,
it.
grooming is such a simple thing, and you feel so good after.
Yeah.
But when you can't do it,
No. Makes you feel good about yourself when it's done.
yeah.
I'm going to get a
You
pedicure.
pedicure right now.
And it affects
Mani
your
pedi.
I'm
function.
going to get a mani-pedi. That's me, baby.
I'm
But
sure.
it affects your function too,
I-
because
Yeah.
if your toenails are too long,
Yeah, no,
your shoes are going to be uncomfortable. When
Yeah.
you walk on the floor, you're
Yeah.
going to feel it on the floor. It's just like when your dog's nails are too long and you hear them
Mm.
on the floor and they slip. Well, the same thing happens to us.
Ooh,
Yeah, I mean, you just don't think about these little things.
Because as long as you're able to
Yeah.
maintain good hygiene, it's not a problem. It's
So,
when you're not able
thank
to
God
do
for
that
you
anymore.
guys, because my mother was a nurse. My daughter wants to be a PA, and I can't stand I can handle my own blood. Everybody else's blood, I don't like. Yeah. As soon as it happens, I'm like, I gotta go. Yeah, getting gaggy, going down. Chris is going down. Can't do it. But Dad, you can handle. Nope, nope, can't do it. Nope.
Oh,
So
blood never
I'll fix the
bothered me.
house up all day long. But so smart home, at home services.
Yeah. Any other service that I mean, there's so many. We have such a huge list on
Well, I
there.
think cleaning services,
Clean-
that is a huge area where this really becomes a problem, because when you have issues with mobility, having to vacuum can become a very dangerous task.
I don't have problems with mobility. But vacuuming, 100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here we are talking about things that you don't normally think about aging in place, but look at how big the directory could actually be. Because, I mean, it's encompassing so many different services. I mean, everything from outdoor care to indoor care to personal care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So-
if you don't live in a clean house, and I can tell you, after working in home health for more than 10 years, it's obvious when a
Some of
house
them are nasty.
goes month after month without being vacuumed, without being mopped.
Yeah.
It's not dusted. All of this accumulates, and it becomes a hazard for people, especially for people with respiratory conditions, which as we
I've been in a hoarder's
age-
house. It's horrible. But you know what happens is it gets
be a
over.
hoarder, though. You don't have to be a hoarder.
No.
Chris,
bad.
if you're not able to vacuum your house, okay, and you're not able, if, for example, if you have pets,
There's a difference between not
especially-
able and don't wanna.
Yes, that's true.
your house
Good, Alan.
quickly gets out of control. It doesn't take a year, and it doesn't take someone accumulating lots of stuff in a very short period of time. In just a few months, if you are not cleaning your house on a regular basis, it will become an issue in a matter of 3 or 4 months.
That's crazy. I've seen it. I said hoarder, but I remember coming in and I couldn't even put my clipboard down because every inch of countertop
Mhm.
space in the kitchen
Yeah.
had a plate, a cup, a silverware, an open peanut butter, and you're sitting there. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I might be a little gaggy when it comes to that stuff. And they're like, yeah, so we'd like some new countertops. And I'm like, well, where? I mean, I can't even see them. I'm like, you have to take everything out. But again, it's a mindset, because like you just said, and once it gets too overwhelming, they shut down, right? You guys have seen it. Okay.
Yeah. And there's also cognitive issues. I mean, I remember going into someone's home to assess the home, and there were roaches crawling on the wall. And when we opened the fridge, it was filled with roaches.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a hoarder house.
Time for a new fridge.
But this person just did not have the cognitive ability to take care of that.
So on the contractor side, one of the things that if you guys are listening to this, and I know we'll have a number of people looking into this and doing this. And by the way, you do it number one, because you should be a good human being. Just get in this directory, do it,
Mhm.
pay the money. That number to get in on the monthly dude, if you can't afford that, you're in the wrong biz. Email me, DM me, do whatever you got to do, Chris at the Trusted Toolbox, and I'll explain to you
It's
just how dumb.
$14 a month.
If you can't do 14 a month to get on to help people, do it, man. Get on there. Let's help these folks get this done because, Alan, do you want to give everybody the plug again? What's the name of it?
What is the name of it?
aginginplacedirectory.com.
I think we got a jingle there right there. Oh, we can sing this out.
Place and directory.
And we got you know what? We got all the microphones going today. We
You
might
don't
be
pay
able to plug-
$14 a month. You suck.
You suck. That's exactly what I was thinking. So on the other side, you're thinking, and I've seen it too, is unfortunately, especially with a number of people, it's the money. I don't have the money to do this. I have an active disabled adult. A lot of times that causes a divorce situation.
Yes.
And I would tell you, if I talk too much, I'll start breaking down and crying because I was in one where the guy was so excited. He was a 32-year-old man in a wheelchair that we were coming in to help him with the becoming independent with his single mother. And the house was a shamble. It was horrible. But this grant helped him do it, and we were able to do it. And he was so excited. And I was like, I mean, I tell you what, you walked away and went, I don't care if I make $1 or $1 million this year. Man, I feel really cool today. I share that with my entire company.
Well, so there's a good question there, though. So there's obviously sometimes some charitable funds available to do this. I mean, is that something you guys can help with too?
We're actually, we were looking into adding that information on there because we can't provide it, but we can at least provide where to get that.
Yeah, some
Because
direction.
that is,
Education.
because that is a huge barrier of entry, to, you know what needs to get done, but if you can't pay for it, what do you do? How do you get around that?
Yeah, it's a difficult conversation, and you can talk financing all day long with some folks like that, which we offer financing at the Trusted Toolbox. But I mean, it is at the end of the day. I mean, they're talking about they buy day old bread just to make bills.
Right.
They turn off lights. They don't run the air conditioning on certain days
Yeah.
just to make their bills. And it's unfortunate because we do in the Trusted Toolbox in my business, we work with a lot of affluent people and doing their thing. But here you're giving back, and there are some opportunities I've been told that you can hook up to and get into a charitable contribution. But I think people hinge way too much on that. I think in their mind, they kind of circle around. But as a contractor, man, you got to get in there. You got to give it a shot. So if you're a home remodeler, you're Mobility Plus, I know those people here in Atlanta, the Alpharetta area specifically. I mean, it's just a group we got to get in there and make it happen because I think if that market happens, you're going to have good things happen, not only to you, but you're making good things happen for our community. So you guys, this is awesome. I love this.
Thank
You guys
you.
are taking a chance. The entrepreneurial journey is beginning. I mean, I know it's begun for you, and I know, and I'm looking at Janet because I know you were a consultant doing it on your own, but I love this opportunity and I think it's well needed. And if you guys can find a way to synthesize and make this thing big, it's a really cool thing that can happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys.
it's- We're enjoying it.
Did you use synthesize because she used Gestalt?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. Is that fair? Can I say
I'll
that?
explain to you
Are we
after
still
the-
are we
after the-
still are we still recording?
Yeah, we're
All
still
right.
recording.
Guys, if you're still in here, you're in your truck, maybe you're driving around, maybe you're walking, you're out just doing your hike, you stay with us all this way through, man, do it. Get involved. Find a way to do it. I can guarantee you, whatever business you're in, you can get in this aging in place directory, and these people will be for you. Go check these ladies out. They're awesome.
When
You
people
want-
like me are getting older every day and I've got lots of money and I don't know what to do with it. So
And right after
you're,
this
you're an
podcast,
idiot
I'm-
if you don't pay the $14 and get on this train.
pay the $14. Somebody's got, please just pay the $14 because I got to put Alan in his chair and I got to roll him up the hill again to get out of the podcast studio. We got to
Where's
do
my bourbon?
it.
Get off my lawn.
That's it. You kids get off my lawn. You know what? Back in my day, we used to walk upstairs every day,
Both ways.
every time. All right. Make it a great day. Keep going up that mountaintop. You know what? Running a business is hard. I'm going to give you guys this last little thing if you're hanging with me. It is harder to run a business and start it from scratch than it is to be the Coca-Cola CEO. You guys are doing it.
Wow.
Make it happen. Go make it happen. You guys can do it. Let's get out of here. Let's go help people. We're going.